What is up, YouTube? So this is a local video. This is a Alaska related video. So is Forrest Dunbar the AOC of Alaska politics? Forrest Dunbar is running for mayor of Anchorage. Okay? And I usually try to do most of my stuff on international politics and on federal politics, but this ties in internationally to a lot of stuff. And I think Forrest Dunbar might be trying to pull an AOC and trying to boost his political career. So you guys don't know who Forrest Dunbar is. He is an assembly person in the Anchorage Assembly from East Anchorage. He has served on the Muldoon Community Council in East Anchorage. And he is originally from a town called Cordova, Alaska. Now, I have connections to Cordova. I used to live in Cordova for a while, back in the 2000s. My dad lives there, fishes there, okay? Actually, my dad knows the high school history teacher, Forrest Dunbar's high school history teacher. My dad fished with her husband, and she lives down the street from my dad. So again, I know other people that went to school with Forrest Dunbar and grew up with Forrest Dunbar. So I know the inside secrets and the inside stories, okay? Not the specific ones, not like in specific to the detail, but I do know people who went to school with Forrest Dunbar, grew up with him, and I can get dirt on him if needed. So Forrest Dunbar grew up in a blue-collar fishing town that is not accessible by road, called Cordova, Alaska. You have to go on a plane. You have to fly through, what's it called? You have to fly either from Anchorage or you have to fly from Seattle with 2 stopovers, one in Juneau, one in Yakutat. So that's where Forrest Dunbar's from. Forrest Dunbar went to a very elitist university in D.C. called American University, okay? So assuming that he went to American University, that you know he was going to launch his political career in some way, shape, or form. So after he went to American University, and by the way, Forrest Dunbar is a lawyer, so if you're an attorney, you're probably going to be getting into politics in some way, shape, or form at some time in your life, right? So Forrest Dunbar, after college, went in the Peace Corps in Kazakhstan. Now, we all know about the NGO industrial complex, okay? And we all know about how the Peace Corps is a form of liberal imperialism, as it is part of the NGO industrial complex. Okay, so after Dunbar was in the Peace Corps and did a couple years in the Peace Corps in Kazakhstan, he went to law school, and while he was in that law school, he joined the National Guard, which is the apparatus of the U.S. military, which is the largest polluter in world history, and which is the most imperialist, most murderous cult in world history. And I believe he joined in some legal capacity as some kind of judge or arbitrator in the National Guard. So Forrest Dunbar in the National Guard, right? He's in the National Guard. He went to American University in D.C. He was some kind of legal capacity in the National Guard. He was in the Peace Corps in Kazakhstan, which is part of, and the Peace Corps is part of the NGO industrial complex, which is a form of soft imperialism, which is a whole nother video, because we're just mainly focusing on the actions of Forrest Dunbar. But guess what I found on his personal Facebook page? He likes a Zionist propaganda organization called Shor Hashem in Chicago. Okay? Forrest Dunbar likes a Zionist propaganda organization that colludes with actual settlers on ethnically cleansed Palestinian land called Shor Hashem, spelled Shorashim, and it's based in Chicago. So if those factors, American University in D.C., National Guard, being in the National Guard in a legal capacity, being in the Peace Corps in Kazakhstan, and being affiliated with a Zionist propaganda group based in Chicago that collaborates with and colludes with settlers on ethnically cleansed Palestinian land. If that doesn't spell career opportunism as a politician, I don't know what does. I think he's following the same pattern of Al Gross. So down the line, you might see Forrest Dunbar taking money from J Street, just like Al Gross did. You remember Al Gross, the Zionist, J Street funded Zionist settler that ran against Dan Sullivan for Senate, for U.S. Senate? I could see Dunbar, who is a pure career opportunist, I could see him following the path of Al Gross. I could see him challenging Dunleavy for governor. I could see him maybe challenging Sullivan for Senate or Don Young for the House. And these are the kind of sly mongooses, sly weasels that we have to watch out for. People like Forrest Dunbar. Again, people that grew up in fishing towns, come off as folksy, right? But then was sold out to elitist institutions in D.C., went to imperialist institutions and participated in imperialist institutions in a legal capacity. Legal as in like he was some kind of arbitrator or attorney with the Alaska National Guard. So that's what I mean by in a legal capacity, because obviously the U.S. military in any way, shape, or form is an illegal entity. Because all imperialist entities are illegal, right? So Forrest Dunbar, his participation in the National Guard, his attendance of American University, the fact that he's an attorney, his participation in the Peace Corps, which is part of the NGO industrial complex to form a soft imperialism in Kazakhstan, and his collaboration and collusion and fanship of Zionist propaganda outfit Shor Hashim, which is based in Chicago and collaborates with Zionist settlers in ethnically cleansed Palestinian land. I believe Forrest Dunbar is somewhat similar to AOC, and I believe he's an opportunist that wants to further advance his political career instead of actually helping the people. It's suspicions that I've had for quite a while now that I've done my research on him. And I will not be voting for this sly mongoose, this weasel, in April. I don't know who I'm going to vote for. I have no idea. But I know, given the facts about Forrest Dunbar and the fact that he's a Zionist grifter, a soft imperialist, and has ties to a criminal entity, multiple criminal entities, and the fact that he went to an elitist university in D.C. called American University, and the fact that despite his upbringing in Cordova, Alaska, he sold out. And I think his family relocated to Cordova from a town in the interior called Eagle. Despite his lower income working class upbringing, because I lived in Cordova, I lived in gingerbread apartments when I was a kid, in a studio, me, my dad, my brother, and my mom when she would come visit. So I know what it's like in Cordova, okay? I lived King's Chambers also when I was a kid in Cordova. So I know what it's like. I know how blue collar and how low income that town is. So for Forrest Dunbar to go to a place from Cordova to a place like American University in D.C., you know something's fishy. Come on now. You know something's fishy. And then for him to go from that to the National Guard, to the Peace Corps, and then colluding with Shor Hashim, and now then the Muldoon Assembly, or Muldoon Community Council, and to the Anchorage Assembly, you know something's fishy. You know this guy wants to be a career politician. You know this guy is a sly mongoose, a sly weasel. So we know to be careful of Forrest Dunbar, because we can't trust him. We, the ordinary people of Alaska, can't trust Forrest Dunbar. So I think he's going to be a career politician, If you connect the dots, he is a careerist. He is a careerist. He's not in it for the benefit of the people. He's in it for the benefit to advance his career. So watch out for this sly mongoose, Forrest Dunbar. Sly mongoose, sly weasel, whatever you want to call him. He's, like I said, he's not in politics to improve things for the people. If you look at his history, he's in it to advance his career. Okay? And he can't relate to ordinary people. Maybe he could have when he lived in Cordova. I don't know. I didn't know him when he lived in Cordova. He's a little bit older than I am. He's about 10 or 15 years. He's about 10 years older than I am. Maybe 15 years. But look at his record. You know he's a scam artist. You look at and connect the dots. You know he's in this for personal gain and not to help the people. Literally, in this for personal gain. American University, attorney, National Guard, Peace Corps. And now he colludes with Zionist propaganda outlets based in Chicago that collaborate with settlers on ethnically cleansed Palestinian land. Something smells fishy to me, and this is why we can't trust Forrest Dunbar. And I'm not voting for nobody in the mayoral election because the candidates are all trash. So that's all for today. I'll be back with a later video. Peace out.